In every colour imaginable, these vast pioneers of manned flight make a spectacular curtain raiser for the Australian Bicentennial Airshow. Not quite as ancient a concept as hot air balloons, but still old in aviation terms, is this Bristol F-2B fighter. The Bristol saw service over the trenches of France and Belgium in World War I. The theme of the Australian Bicentennial Airshow is yesterday, today and tomorrow. And there are quite a few old warbirds here, like this Fokker, the one made famous by the Red Baron. And this was its famous adversary, the Sopwith Puff, a speedy and light World War I fighter. The first encounter the West was to have with this fighter bomber was when it came out of the sun on the 7th of December 1941 over Pearl Harbor. For the next 2 years, the Mitsubishi Zero seemed almost invincible. In the European theatre of war, the Messerschmitt 109 was a sight to be feared. Over 33,000 of them were produced, and they fought in the Battle of Britain against planes like this, the Supermarine Spitfire. The Spitfire is probably the most famous fighter plane in history. 245 of them saw service with the RAAF, where their power and performance became legend. The vintage and veteran aircraft display spans over 60 years of aviation history. Remember the Mustang, the de Havilland Vampire, the Sabre, and of course, the Douglas DC-3. Normally, of course, the public is not allowed near aircraft when they're flying. Here we have around 250,000 people within metres of aircraft, some of which are flying very fast indeed. And, as the tragic events that occurred at a German airshow proved earlier this year, you have to be ready just in case.
Well, at the moment, we've got with us senior officers from all of the emergency services from New South Wales, including the police, fire and ambulance. And we've also got our own military resources that are under my control. We've been practicing for 3 days, and before the airshow started, we had a practice run-through using all our communications and so on. And that was the first time that we used it in earnest, and we don't want to do it again.
On a cold morning in May 1928, 4 men began what has been called the greatest flight ever made. The airframe was Dutch, from the famous Fokker company, and the 3 engines were mighty Wright Whirlwinds. The aircraft was, of course, the Southern Cross, piloted by Charles Om and Charles Kingsford Smith. The flight was from San Francisco to Brisbane, which they completed in just over 83 hours flying time. The pioneering spirit has persevered in aircraft design with the Christian Eagle and the Rutan Defiant front and rear engine 5-seater that you can construct from a kit in your own backyard. But the pioneering spirit is nowhere more apparent than in the Royal Australian Air Force. The RAAF operates in extremely varied environments and climatic conditions. It buys its aircraft from manufacturers all over the world, like this Squirrel helicopter from Aerospatiale. More than 20 are registered in Australia, and it's in service with the RAAF and the Australian Navy.
For the Royal Australian Air Force, this is, without a doubt, the major event, maybe major aviation event of our bicentennial year. Certainly it'll have tremendous spin-offs for us as far as recruiting is concerned, but it's anything but a mere recruiting exercise. This is, to put it in one single phrase, a celebration of Australian aviation. The Royal Australian Air Force has been a major part of our aviation history, and we're here to celebrate that. Nothing like this has ever been attempted before in Australia. Nothing like this has ever been attempted before in the Southern Hemisphere. Look around you, what we have here at Richmond, and I think you will see that we have never done anything like this before, and I doubt, short of 100 years from now, we're likely to do it again.
The intrepid gentlemen you see here are the Sky Dancers, the only civilian formation aerobatic team in Australia. They fly pit specials in a complicated program of crossovers, loops, stall turns, snap and barrel rolls. And for this, they have special clearance, so they can perform at ceilings down to 150 meters.
.30 Monday, the multi-award-winning St. Elsewhere returns.
Excellent. Welcome back.
A brand new episode, 9:30 Monday, following all the way on Channel 9.
Find a smile.
If you think you know Polaroid photography, it's time to think again. There's the new Impulse camera. Crisper, sharper colors, color enlargements, and extra prints. Polaroid photography, a whole new, wonderful world.
To find a sophisticated automobile capable of exhilarating performance, of stunning beauty, built with such engineering excellence, is all too rare. The all-new 2.2-litre, 12-valve, fuel-injected or intercooled, turbocharged Mazda 626 sports hatchback or sports saloon with Mazda's unique 3-year warranty. Nothing opens up quite like it.
To find out how good new Kellogg's Complete Oven-Baked Muesli is, we compared it to the one you're probably eating now. Both have oats, chopped nuts, coconut and sultanas. But only Complete has rolled wheat, rice, apple, almonds, pawpaw, pine nuts and currants dipped in yogurt. And Complete has grains baked into crunchy clusters. So which muesli would you rather be eating? Kellogg's Complete Oven-Baked Muesli, the way muesli was meant to be.
Come on up to the St. George Great Super Rate. 14.25% per annum for a 4-month term on $5,000 or more. Don't miss this chance to get a top rate and a short term. The Great Super Rate. 14.25% per annum for a 4-month term investment. Hurry into St. George and get your Great Super Rate before time runs out.
What a great idea, St. George!
Hey, hi, babe.
You're a nut.
A California walnut.
You're different.
I'm golden, tasty, healthy, and more.
California, here I come. Right back where I started from.
You can also win a California holiday or one of 60 food processors. Look for the California walnut sticker.
California, here I come.
And fresh. Want to come to California?
Flight Lieutenant Scott Goodyear is one of the legendary few, a frontline fighter pilot with the RAAF. Sadly, the Dassault Mirage is being phased out of service and replaced by the FA-18 Hornet. But even after 30 years of service, the Mirage is still an impressive aircraft and a great plane to fly. Scott, I've got to ask you, any similarity between the movie and Top Gun and what you do with this aircraft?
A lot of people ask that. In fact, the flying sequences in the movie are fairly close to life. The workload in the cockpit and both pilots being fairly frantic is basically what will happen in air combat. I've got to admit the tactics in the actual movie are more for the camera than actually what would really happen, but for a person who's never really experienced it, it's fairly true to life.
How did you become a fighter pilot?
Well, first of all, basically I started with a love of flying. Applied to join the Air Force, basically to fly, did a 12-month pilot's course, lucky enough to get sent to a fighter squadron for 3 years. And then I chose to take a postgraduate course and become a test pilot, and that's what I am flying as now, a test pilot. You can see that the orange and white colours are not really operational type colours, but for test flying, it's sort of very, very visible. So that's why we painted up that colour to make it highly visible for trial tasks.
How stressful it is flying aircraft like this? Is it a stress game?
It is stressful. Like most of my sorties may only range between 0.8 to 1 hour, but in that 1 hour, I'm working very hard the whole time on most of the sorties I fly, and I'll come back wrung out, basically.
What's it like up there when you're doing all those aerobatics?
Oh, it's great. I love it. I really do.
I take it you don't have a big meal before you go up?
In fact, it's funny you mention, you've got to eat something, otherwise I find that it's far more difficult to fly. But no, I don't have a big meal, no.
The Russian Kamov Ka-32 helicopter is one of the latest helicopter designs. In its military form, it is used for anti-submarine warfare. It would probably surprise you to know that the first manned flight of a helicopter took place in 1907, only 4 years after the Wright brothers took to the air. Each has its devoted followers, and helicopter development has kept pace with its fixed-wing counterpart. Today, helicopters are used for mustering cattle, aerial reconnaissance, transport and rescue. Wessex, Sikorsky and Chinook helicopters are as essential to military strategy as the FA-18 fighters. This is the Sikorsky S-70A Black Hawk, a new tactical transport helicopter that was designed for the US Army. Its load-carrying capacity of 11 troops plus 3,600 kilos slung externally also makes it an ideal choice for the Australian military. 39 are on order. The United States Air Force has brought their main strike aircraft to the show, the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle, and their most experienced pilots.
I've been flying aircraft since 1972, and being young and energetic and sometimes a little reckless, there's some things that you do as a younger pilot that you don't do now now that I've been doing it for a while. I'm much more conservative than I was before, based on my experiences. I think I'm a better pilot because of that conservative approach. I think I'm much safer now than I was before. So from that regard, I think it's good. But there are some times, because we fly aggressively and very dynamically, that a recklessness is an attribute, it's a positive characteristic. And that's the things that the young people have that I may be losing in my older years.
Many experts consider the F-15 the best fighter in the world. Designed for air-to-air combat, it performs in a number of other roles and can deliver a staggering 7 tons of offensive weapons. The 2 Pratt & Whitney turbofan engines can develop a maximum speed for the aircraft of 2,660 kilometers per hour. The new F-15E version can operate at weights of up to 38,000 kilos, twice as much as the famous B-17 Flying Fortress. Also making their international debut at the Australian Bicentennial Airshow are Kiwi Red, the aerobatic team of the Royal New Zealand Air Force. Flying Skyhawk fighter bombers and led by Wing Commander Frank Sharp, Kiwi Red is comprised of 6 fully operational pilots and planes of New Zealand's frontline unit 75 Squadron. You're seeing here is a world first, a barrel roll with one aircraft plugged into the air-to-air refueling system on the leader's aircraft.
Thank you for supporting the 9 Network's Life Education Centre's television appeal. Take your pledge donation to any National Australia bank or post to GPO Box 9859 in your capital city by December 7th and you could win a fabulous Qantas Jetabout family holiday to Disneyland and Honolulu with $1,500 spending money donated by National Australia Bank Travel. Protect our future. Send your donation now.
Pizza Hut are making a great offer on jugs. Not just any jugs, but very special jugs. Not that special. Pizza Hut are offering cooler jugs. Not like that. Like this. A 2-litre cooler jug for just $4.95 with the purchase of any takeaway pizza. Then, all summer when you come back for a takeaway pizza, we fill the jug with Pepsi, absolutely free. Get your cooler jug from Pizza Hut for just $4.95, then get free Pepsi fill-ups with every takeaway pizza.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
Santa's rushing to Anita Jewelers. He's seen the value in the Anita Jewelers Christmas collection.
Let your love show this Christmas with our 9-carat diamond heart collection. Save up to 30%. 9-carat gold and diamond set initials, exclusive rings and pendants, a gift just for her. Save up to $100 on these 9-carat diamond set rings, many great styles to choose from.
The Christmas collection, Anita Jewelers.
Your friend in the business.
Now open at Centrepoint.
Ah, hello. You know, financial ads with huge interest rates sometimes have a catch, but not Estate Mortgage. On average, they've returned higher than 15% interest per annum for the last 5 years. Compare that with your bank. And no joining fee, or after 3 years, exit fees. And all you need is $500 to start. Yes.
Estate Mortgage. It's not a bank or a building society. It's even better.
It's Christmas, a time of joy with those you love, and the Weekly has everything to make your Christmas extra special. We give you a real Aussie Christmas in 12 pages to cut out and keep. Traditional stories and rhymes, the words of those wonderful carols, games for Christmas Day, and famous weekly recipes, old and new. Plus 16 pages of mouth-watering roasts, gift ideas, sewing and crafts. They'll love this. And a magnificent souvenir of our bicentenary. Share the true spirit of Christmas with this very special Weekly.
Thank you very much for the care you've taken. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for the home we're making. Thank you very much, very much.
Say thank you with Cadbury Roses chocolates. Whatever the occasion, or for any reason at all. Delicious centres covered in smooth Cadbury chocolate.
Thank you very much for doing the dishes. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much just for being my missus. Thank you very, 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 very much.
It's not an aeroplane, but it was the catalyst for the foundation of one of the world's great airlines. Because of the slow and jarring progress of this Model T, it convinced 2 World War I fighter pilots that Australia should have its own national airline. They named it Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services. Qantas, to you and me. Qantas was formed in 1920. And for the first 2 years operated joy flights and taxi services with 2 small Avro aircraft. In 1922, an Armstrong-Whitworth FK-8 biplane inaugurated Qantas's first regular service between Charleville and Cloncurry, a distance of 517 miles. In 1938, the company operated a flying boat service from Sydney to Southampton, England. After the war, Qantas expanded rapidly, flying to Japan, Fiji, Hong Kong, South Africa and the UK, the latter being known as the Kangaroo Route. In 1971, Qantas took delivery of its first 747 and today operates a fleet of 34 jumbos flying to 42 cities in 24 countries. The Qantas Pavilion is one of the main draw cards of the air show. It's a landmark that can be seen from every corner of the airfield. John Menadue, the Chief Executive Officer of Qantas, is a man who's seen a lot of flying history. John, we know so much about Qantas's past because it is part of our history, but what about Qantas's future?
Well, we're obviously going to build on a very great past, as we've seen in this pavilion, but our engineering, airmanship standards and quality will ensure that we continue to develop very rapidly. We expect in the next 5 years that we'll increase our fleet from about 30 aircraft to 50, and by the turn of the century, probably a fleet of 90 or 100 aircraft. That's a very substantial expansion, but we think it's necessary because we can service the enormous inbound tourism opportunities that Australia has.
But what a wonderful opportunity to bring Qantas to the people this air show is. I mean, the traffic coming through was unbelievable.
It's, I think this is one of the most marvellous exhibitions I've seen. We clearly decided if we're going to be here at the air show, we had to be the best exhibition. And that's certainly our objective. In everything we do, we're going to be the best.
Yes, you didn't skimp on this one, did you?
No, we decided that you can't be second best or third best in these sorts of things. If you do it, you've got to be the best.
highlight of any air show are the aerobatic displays. This is the Russian champion flying a plane specially designed for aerobatics. The Sukhoi Su-26M is of all-metal construction and stressed to very high limits. It has to be. During some of the maneuvers, the pilot is pulling 13 Gs. The engine is a 360 horsepower M14P 9-cylinder radial engine, producing a maximum speed of 350 kilometers per hour and a maximum rate of climb of 1,080 meters per minute. This is some of the most superb aerobatic flying you're ever likely to see. Still a crowd stopper, even after 20 years of service, is the British Aerospace Sea Harrier. Despite its designation as a warplane, the world's air forces saw it only as an amusing curiosity. But in 1982, the Harrier startled the world with its deadly performance in the Falklands. It wasn't only its ability to take off vertically from carrier decks, it was also its amazing ability in the air. In air-to-air combat with Skyhawks and Mirages, it proved its superiority time and time again. The thrust works through nozzles that rotate to provide either vertical or horizontal thrust. Harrier is the only aircraft built that doesn't require an airfield apart from the helicopter. If you wanted to airlift 4 Mercedes buses and a couple of 30-metre yachts, this would be the aircraft to do it in. The giant Russian Antonov 124 transporter. It can lift a staggering 171,000 kilos.
Our Ruslan is the biggest plane in the world now, and this size is 73 meters wingspan and 70 meters length and high 21 meters. The eyes of the pilot are located on the 12 meters on the ground. Oh, my experience is 14,000 flight hours and more than 30 years. That's my profession.
CEL Home Video presents the Australian Bicentennial Airshow. All the excitement in the air, on the ground and behind the scenes can be yours to keep as a memento of this once-only aviation spectacular. Featuring footage only to be seen on this cassette. The Australian Bicentennial Airshow, now on video. Available from major department stores, variety stores and leading video outlets. Only $39.95 from CEL Home Video.
This car loan is exhilarating. This is an off-the-road car loan. This is what a twin-cam car loan looks like in slow motion. And this is a smart-thinking car loan. This car loan will amaze you. And this car loan is for the best years of your life. You can drive away any of these car loans in the colour of your choice at your nearest National Australia Bank showroom. Apply now.
When I was his age, people around here were still using water filters for pure, sweet-tasting water.
High calcium Physical is made by applying the same idea to milk. It's called ultrafiltration.
So if you're concerned about good taste, less fat, and getting enough calcium without powders or additives, the choice is natural.
Let's get physical.
Ultra-filtered Physical from Sandhurst Foods.
Oh, my little pretty one, lots of fun. You get me going places, my Rosa. Take you to the top, never stop. Moving up, you can take me anywhere. Make them stare, not a care and four-wheel drive. My Rosa. When I feel your motor run, I'm number one. Ooh, I wanna feel it all the time. Rosa, take you on the beach. I'm a mover, right a reach. If I need to get away, you're the way you get me going places. My Rosa.
The new four-wheel drive Feroza from Daihatsu with its 1.6-litre engine and electronic fuel injection. Feroza really gets you going places. From Daihatsu, that's who.
Test number 2 Friday.
The Windies are here to play. Breathing fire, got hell to pay. They reckon they're the ones to knock us down. They don't know who they're dealing with. We've got a team that just won't give. Come on, Aussie, show them who's the boss.
Starting Friday, 1:50, test number 2, Australia and the West Indies at the Wacker in Perth, live and exclusive to Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Just performed that amazing manoeuvre is Chris Baru, Australia's champion aerobatic pilot. Chris has been Australian unlimited champion 13 times. The plane he is flying is a Pit Special. Despite its distinctive vintage appearance, Pit Special is one of the most successful sporting biplanes ever. It's used in aerobatic championships all over the world. Just watch Chris throw it around the sky. Very brief visitor to the show is the United States Air Force Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. This massive plane is deployed all over the world as the strike aircraft for the United States Nuclear Bomber Force. This one has flown in from Guam, a 25-hour round trip, and after a few brief passes over the runway, leaves again without even landing. Fortunately, most military aircraft have stayed. This is the Panavia Tornado F3, a two-seater air defense interceptor and the very latest concept in fighter design.
Well, it's designed for operating over the North Atlantic, so it has very long range, very large weapon load to take out any threat to the UK, take out large formations of bombers, an effective radar, long-range radar, and good weapons system. It's very fast. It's probably the fastest fighter around these days, and it's reasonably maneuverable, but not in the fighter sense, dogfighting sense of the word. It's a maneuverable interceptor.
The name navigator really is a misnomer in the F3 because we have IIN, so I do very little navigation. The kit does it all. It's all done on a little tape and put in the computer. It just tells you where to go. So really my job involves operating all the various bits of equipment, mainly the radar. My primary task is to find targets on the radar and maneuver the F3 verbally into a position where you're able to either engage them or go around the back to identify who they are. You have to trust the pilot totally with my life, trust his ability. And in Fred's case, well, I trust him, just.
Behind the flying displays, the aerobatics and the sophisticated technology, the Australian Bicentennial Airshow, like any other airshow, is open for business. You can buy anything here from a guided missile system to a Boeing 747, providing, of course, you've got money, and lots of it. Let's see what's on offer.
Well, we have brought here a range of all our products, both civil, military aircraft, guided weapons, and a whole range of systems and equipments. Finally, our space areas.
In China, the labor is cheaper. Translaunch vehicles are cheap, and we do not seek for high profit, excessive profit.
Well, we're a prime contractor on Space Station. Today, we supply the power assist module, which lifts the satellites out of our space shuttle and into a higher orbit.
We have good technology, top-of-the-line technology, and we're looking to develop that technology in conjunction with Australian industry.
In an air show of this size, the behind-the-scenes organisation is complex and vast. The planes exhibited here, for instance, will burn around $1 million worth of fuel. Not surprising when you consider that fuel tank capacities are measured not in litres, but in tonnes. Refuelling takes place dawn till dusk to keep the planes in constant readiness. This FA-18 Hornet typifies the new generation of fighter aircraft. Capable of speeds approaching 2,000 kilometres an hour, it demands a level of pilot ability verging on the superhuman, particularly for air displays.
It's just total concentration, really. I don't think about the crowd or anything. I'm just thinking about the show, the next manoeuvre that I'm doing, the numbers that I need to meet to carry on with the next manoeuvre and so on. Just the aeroplane and me, that's all I think about. I have to reach a certain height above the ground and a certain speed through the air before I can commit my nose down for a manoeuvre, so I'm concentrating on meeting those numbers. If you don't meet those numbers, then one or two things will happen. You either have to stop the manoeuvre there, or if you continue it, then something not in the show might happen, you know, like you might have an accident or something like that. So you've got to be concentrating on those numbers to prevent any problems or catastrophes. Not so much instinct, that's probably a bad word for it. What we rely on is skill and thought processes, you know, recognising attitudes, airspeeds and so on. And when we go and work up a solo demonstration, we don't start low like you see it at the show. We start at a higher altitude so that there's more room for error. And then as you become more current at it, then you just progressively get lower and lower and lower. We've got more power than the starting grid of the Formula 1 Grand Prix at Adelaide, for instance. We've got about 24,000 horsepower, and that's all in one vehicle and one man in it. So it's a buzz. It's a thrill. It's good to get paid to do it, put it that way.
Prices keep crashing at Copper Art. Stunning oriental lamps smashed to just $10 each. Beautiful roses with gypped not $15 each, now 2 bunches for $10. And set of 3 ceramic planters, a ridiculous $10. Hurry into Copper Art while stocks last.
Especially at Christmas, there's no other store like David Jones.
I don't know, Jono. Have a look at this. The car's got a whole computer system that actually tells you what's wrong with it. And those backyard boys, I think it's just a question of changing a couple of these, I don't know. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you better look at the distributor cap. Could be cracked. It's probably non-genuine too.
Yeah, doing that.
Commodore's all finished. Have a listen to this.
Love it.
Open a box of Cadbury Continental Dark Chocolates and taste the distinctly continental taste. 13 exquisite centres, smothered with the finest, rich, dark Cadbury chocolate. French vanilla cream, chocolate truffle, rum noir, Grand Brazil, and many more. Exclusive to Cadbury Continental Chocolates. Chocolates of distinction. Cadbury Continental.
Snap up the Christmas savings at Copper Art. Beautiful centerpieces, not $19, just $6.95. Enormous gardens, an incredible $10. And superb Christmas wreaths, also a crazy $10. Hurry into Copper Art for all your Christmas savings.
They fly without wings. The parachute teams come from the Australian Army, the Royal Air Force, the Canadian Forces, and the Royal New Zealand Air Force. The Australian Red Berets, named after their distinctive headwear, are all instructors at the Nara Parachute Training School. The Royal Air Force team is the Falcons, the UK's leading parachute display team. And what a spectacular display they make. While the jump plane, a Hercules C-130, lands, a squadron of Orions wheel and swoop overhead. British Aerospace have two new planes here at the show. The Hawk 100, a two-seater advanced trainer that the RAAF are considering as a replacement for the Macchi, and the Hawk 200, a single-seater multi-role fighter. What more fitting finale could we have than an aerobatic display by Australia's premier team, the Roulettes? Flying Macchi jet trainers, the 5 members of the team perform spectacular manoeuvres while flying as close as 3 metres apart.
Experience counts for everything in a team like this. It's not something that people with low experience can step into and hope to perform successfully. It really requires several thousand hours of flying experience before you really got a chance of putting it together. Any incident shakes the confidence of a team. The problem I was faced with when I came back to lead this team is to get the team together. The team is everything about what we do. We have to know each other's abilities, trust in each other, and otherwise there is just no team. And any incident destroys that team credibility, if you like, and you have to work very hard to build that up. To be selected as a roulette, you have to be posted to RAAF Base East Sale to Central Flying School for a start. That means you have been a flying instructor for some time, you've spent some time at one of our schools, and you would have some experience on a Macchi. 1,000 hours is now a minimum requirement we have to be in the team, and apart from that, you have to be a volunteer. So we only take people that want to do the job. Performing at the Australian Bicentennial Airshow means a great deal to us. It's something we've trained very hard for. We are representing the Royal Australian Air Force at this display. So it really is perhaps the ultimate show that the team will do.
At the Australian Bicentennial Airshow, we've seen the pride of the world's aviation industries and the cream of their pilots. We've witnessed an aerial spectacular unprecedented in Australian history. It's unlikely that we'll see an airshow of such size and scope here again.
Tuesday night at 7:30, join Head of the Class for an international incident when they tackle the Russian whiz kids head on. It's a clash of hilarious proportions. Head of the Class, Tuesday at 7:30. But now, stay with us for Adventure Bound. Next.